Friends and subscribers, this is China News for July 2013. Let's check the rags of record and find out what has happened here in July in China. Well, not as active a month as previous months, but still plenty going on here. Key investment talks have been going on in the United States between Obama and the Chinese government. Here's a photo of Obama and the Vice President of China talking about new investment deals, tit for tat or give and take on investment deals for industrial parks, for key investment agreements for Chinese to invest in the United States property and businesses and other type of investment type instruments, and then also of course more ability for foreign investment into China, and that includes more liberation of the renminbi, among other things, free trade zones, more student and business visas, and really trying to open up what is designed to enrich those that are in government and also in corporate positions, but as you may expect, not you and I, my friends. This is designed to take your jobs if you are in the West or you are in another region where these talks will have an effect in the coming years. So, not good news. Good news for some, bad news for most of us. So, what's happening in the credit arena? Well, credit growth was flat in June. Those numbers came in here in July, and we can see that as expected, because of the slowdown, there were far less new loans denominated in yuan, and social financing also came down dramatically because they're trying to clamp down on hot money, which is what they should have done a long time ago. Now they have a crisis with credit bubble, housing bubble, and more problems on the horizon. The Chinese economy has been slowing down and will continue to slow down in the foreseeable future, and they're trying to make adjustments to combat that. Exports set back, imports flat in June. We knew this was happening, a dramatic dip in import-export throughout China, and what some observers say was that they're going to need to open up new markets or consume internally, although as I've talked about before, Chinese are less apt to spend on consumer products as their American counterparts. They save around 30% of their income and spend on other things rather than frivolous goods. So that's the dilemma: how to kickstart the Chinese economy to be able to get to those growth rates that they were able to brag about in the past, and change the Chinese public consumer habits. That's the key. The cartoon of the day, you can see here, "You have hurt me. I don't care. I just want Snowden." This is the theater playing out now around the world. Snowden, of course, just got released out of the Moscow airport into Moscow, and there's still a lot of debate going on about what to do about whistleblowers, and the Chinese are taking notice. Bad for the world, good for the United States government. Shanghai struggles with growth. What's happening now is that Shanghai has been built out for the past several years, and it is one of the wealthiest areas of China. And so what's happening here is they're not getting the growth rate each year to year that they would like. As you can see in the photo here, this is a picture of the Bund, which I had given you a tour of before. That's one of the new buildings that's going up, and the talk has been about a new free trade zone within Shanghai that they're hoping will increase growth in this region. And I will show you at least 3 high-tech zones that are under construction right now that are offering low taxes and great business deals for companies such as IBM, Dell, HP, and the likes. And with those companies coming in and with a highly educated population, we're going to see this high-tech area to be kickstarted and move from manufacturing into service-based offerings and other type of business growth. And Shanghai trying to be a lot more like Hong Kong. That is the strategy. Just recently came out that Shanghai is now the 14th most expensive city in the world and the second most expensive in China, next to Hong Kong. And Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and Shanghai are the three cities that have special trade zones and internationally friendly environment for growth. And that's the strategy. Meanwhile, they still build up Chengdu, Chongqing, and several other cities to the west of China to be build bases, build hubs, and distribution centers. So that's the long-term strategy going forward. More problems with the Diaoyu Sanaka Island dispute. The Coast Guard now out to the islands there to combat Japanese so-called aggression. A Chinese Coast Guard ship has cruised this week near East China Sea island chain. China's ever-growing maritime advance is making the Japanese nervous and also spurring more Japanese investment into the military. And this is, like I said, not going to go away. There's another dispute with the Philippines right now going on. That is not in the news, but that is ongoing. There's trouble with Vietnam and other areas of Asia. And China is doing a lot of chest thumping and apparently is not going to back down until they have control of everything in the region. This is imperialistic. This is very U.S. style. They're using some of those tactics that worked for the U.S. in the past, and you may not agree with that, but that's my take on it. Red hot, scorching heat here in this area of China. And what has happened here the past couple days. 2 days ago it was 41 degrees Celsius, and yesterday 43 degrees Celsius. I haven't measured the temperature today, but it is expected to be 107 degrees Fahrenheit today in the shade. Unbelievable heat here in China. The highest power usage in this area of China that they've ever recorded, and some of the highest temperatures that they've recorded in recent history in China. So everybody is just dying from the heat. And in the other news, Bo Xilai charged with graft power abuse. We knew this was coming. He has been held for over a year now, and what's happening is it's time for the trial to begin. Bo Xilai, as you may well know, was one of the top party officials from Chongqing, and he was earmarked to be possibly the new president of China. He was aligned with some very powerful people, including the former president of China. And what happened is there were some misunderstandings, there was some problems, and he got sacked. So we'll see a lot more coming out of the trial for this massive scandal. The heat. Well, here's a story that may not be something that you want to see, but this is happening. Punished in the heat. A young girl, 8 years old, kneeling on the ground doing her homework in 107-degree heat, sparked outcry in China here. The girl was being punished by her father, and he forced her to do homework outside in scorching, deadly heat. This is an all too common fact in China. In fact, in Nanjing just a couple of weeks ago, a young girl about the age of 9 or 10 was out in front of her house with no clothes on. Her father was at home and wasn't really aware that the young girl needed to have clothes on. Very concerning. There just isn't a lot of child abuse cases here, and there isn't a lot of focus on parental abuse, and it's unfortunate. It's another social problem throughout China, and there's a lot of this, a lot of horror stories that some of them I don't even want to mention to you, but be aware that there was no outcry from the other people in this housing complex. The little girl was left out there to do her homework in this heat. Other social issues here, just like I said before, man detained for chucking 2-year-old baby. A man in a dispute with his wife basically threw down his 2-year-old to the ground and left her. This is, again, a child abuse case that will not get resolved. The man may get a slap on the wrist, may get a fine, but the child will be with the family and probably be a victim of more abuse throughout the child's life. And that is how it goes. Other weird stories. Man executed in Yunnan for ghost bride murder. I reported to you this quite a while ago, how in south of China, in the Canton area, it is tradition to marry dead people. Ghost bride weddings are common still, where if the girl dies young, the family of a bachelor will marry the girl before she's buried. And that way the girl can go to the afterlife as being married, and then the two families can make agreements with money. Usually there's thousands of yuan paid to the family of the dead girl, and sometimes, like in this case, the service or the middleman will get involved and marry off girls that actually were not of consent with their families and may have been married before. And that's what the scam is. Marrying dead people is big money in China. And another comical story from Asia, Korean War vets march and have a great party on the anniversary, 60th year anniversary of the Korean War. And these gents here, all of them who have enough decorations and awards, more than General Patton. Look at them. Now, how these men could be so accomplished in a war that basically they lost, I do not know, but that's the Korean thought process. Here's a ship that was seized by North Korea during the Korean War. They paraded out there and dock it, and that is still a commissioned warship for the United States. The USS Pueblo never did come home, never has been decommissioned. It is still listed as one of the military boats for the United States, used as a spy and surveillance boat back during the Korean War. And this story, we can't forget about Xinjiang in the northwest of China, the Muslim area that has been having problems here for the past several years. Thousands of knives, bullets have been turned in to police stations in Xinjiang, where there has been a lot of problems recently with bombings, shootings, stabbings, and other kind of commotion to protest what many Xinjiang people say is Chinese occupation. The story also is not going to go away. It is the Muslim region of China currently, and many have considered it being kind of a separate culture, or at least a subculture of China. Tourists say they are not afraid to travel to Xinjiang, so the tourism industry is still good there, as it is in Tibet. But the problem with the guns and other weapons are a major concern to the Central Party. Although you won't see a lot of publicity about this, and you will not see two sides to this story, at least in the mainland.